My name is Meredith. I'm the CEO of VPG Enterprise. So we're a real estate development, construction, and property management firm based here in New Orleans, Louisiana. There's a few selfish reasons tied to that. I was a baseball player, and when I was released, I had kind of that chip on the shoulder to make sure nobody had any control of my destiny. So that was kind of the ping to the entrepreneur spirit. But as I got in corporate America, I worked for a Fortune 5 oil company. Another one of the engineers called me and said, "Hey man, let's try this real estate business." And at the time, I was doing the calculations of how much money I was generating for the company and how much they were paying me. And so that was kind of the kick that said, hey, let's take a trip down this entrepreneur path. Our first flip that we ever did was about $1 million project in the French Quarter. And so, there were times that we'd be out there. We were 24-year-old, young African-American, guys, on the property. And if there was an issue, hey, what can we do to solve it? I was like, well, we need to talk to the real owner. We need to talk to, the person who's over the project. And so those stigmas that we talked about very early is there shouldn't be any young African-American developers. Well, I've never seen any young African-American developers doing projects in the French Quarter. In real estate, it's heavy, debt-based, right? So at that time, Andre and I had quit our jobs. These didn't check off your regular underwriting tabs. So, we didn't have the financial backing. We had good credit, but we didn't have the W-2 income or the tax return income. And banking is based on credit, but it's also based on character. If you have, a lineage or you have, a relationship with somebody, sometimes that is the difference between getting a deal done and not getting a deal done. How do you get that opportunity to walk into the door and prove yourself? What we're looking for is an opportunity to grow what we're doing in these communities. Look at it as a perfect marriage from an equity side to the things that we're doing on the debt to really be able to deploy this capital in a way that affects the community. The things that we're having to do and investors that we're bringing in sometimes are the deal breakers, right? If we've got to get a certain percentage and a certain hurdle rate to our investors, sometimes those deals just don't make sense, but we know that there are partners here locally that are using foundation money, that are using philanthropic money that is multiple, bottom line net. For those guys, that allows us to get some of these deals done because their returns aren't expected to be as high as some of our investors that we're dealing with on the private side. It has to be tangible. It's a difference to read about it. I can give you an example of one of the projects that we recently did in Algiers. It was one of the worst crime apartment complexes in the entire city. In this specific precinct, it was 75% of the calls coming from this 100-unit apartment complex, and nobody really wanted to deal with it. But we knew, one, that we had the management, construction, development team to execute on our plan. Two, we knew that our people cared about that community.